I'm joined with you again with my co-workers, Deborah and Lirita from the United States. And we understand we have 45 minutes to share together a round table, a council circle, if you will.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. Let me introduce you first. Sorry to interrupt.
Of course.
Your proper introduction this time, because we missed the one the other day. This is the second part of the Wisdom Group USA's talk, Way of Council, Subjective Group Leadership for Our Nations. In this workshop, the group becomes receptive to impression, to the ideating purpose and new idea conditioning Europe and the new civilization by contemplating the synthesis of the sole key notes of the three nations triangle, USA, Britain, and Russia. Jonathan, Deborah, and Loretta are part of the Wisdom Group studying both DK's teachings and the new thought form presentation of the wisdom of Master R through Lucille Cedar-Crimes. Their work primarily focuses on developing group subjective leadership within our nations. I don't have the time to read out all your individual biographies, but they can be found on our website on the presenters page. Thank you very much for your contribution, friends, and welcome.
Thank you, Philip. Yes, there is more information on the website, indeed. I'd like to share with you a little bit of the background before we experience a way of counsel together. So what is a way of counsel as subjective group leadership? What do we mean by this? Well, it began this time last year at the Aries interlude in creative cooperation with the 2025 Creative Nations Initiative, a parallel service activity, particularly focusing on aligning with the sole purpose and keynotes of the three nations, the Great Triangle, USA, Russia, and Britain, and their regional influence. The other day, Philip posed the question to the presenter: does the work relate to the C groups? Well, in some contemplation, personally, I conclude that perhaps it relates to the fifth group, politics and social organizing, with the emphasis on social organizing. In essence, the way of counsel acknowledges that each one of us can give expression to the wisdom that will meet the needs of the time. And as we know, in the United Nations Charter and the constitutions of some nations, begins with "we the people." So I invite you to enter with us into a way of counsel as the people of our nations. Our focus today, as I mentioned, invites us to represent the people within the family of nations of Europe and within the regional relationships of the three nations triangle. In essence, a way of counsel is in three parts, like a triangle. We undertake through observation a mini snapshot. We bring into our awareness the conditions within which the people find themselves in our regions, our spheres of influence. We attempt to give a voice to our awareness in a council of listening, a round table. That through such awareness, the practical and spiritual needs of the people can be identified and therefore will be met. And thirdly, in our role of subjective group leadership, we begin to align our observations of those conditions with the divine plan, thereby establishing right relationship between first and third aspects. We invoke the energies of hierarchy and the spiritual forces to meet those needs by precipitating the energy of the Christ, pure reason and love wisdom to and through the sum of all relationships. That is a key point, the sum of all relationships, that we endeavor to identify with and as. We mentioned this yesterday. Then we contemplate the sole purpose. How does it speak to us, individually and as a group? The sole purpose of our nations for Aquarius, and in the synthesis and right relationship of the three nations, upon whose regional influence the future of humanity is said to depend. The word regional I have inserted there as I believe it is helpful. And we close by distributing the energies of the divine plan and by imparting the great invocation. And the keynotes for the three nations will be put up on the screen for us. If we, since time is of the essence here, if there are any brief questions or comments before we begin the council by moving into observation, you're most welcome to pose such a question.
Jonathan, I'd like to impart and remind everyone to reflect on the meditation yesterday, the transmutation meditation. And if you can go back and check in as to what your impressions were for that meditation and bring that into the way of counsel, it will be a wonderful foundation, expressed perhaps in a word or so, 2 words, 3 words max, that for a foundation for building onto the way of counsel and the elders.
That's helpful, Lirita, thank you. I'm sure we all hold the awareness that these times are very real, and our observations of the practical and spiritual needs of people everywhere are quite stark and evident to each of us. So I invite you to prepare for an initial observation and alignment.
Meditation for the Way of Counsel, Europe. Alignment. Relax the physical body. Take a deep breath and bring the mind to stillness. As you release any tensions and busy thoughts, feel yourself to be connected to the earth, to the life and living vitality of this one planetary being. Become emotionally calm and serene, breathing joy into the heart. Focus the mind in the Ajna center. Integrating the personality instrument to become receptive to soul impression. Link up with one another. And with our co-workers and servers in the world group and within the etheric network of humanity. Setting our intent in cooperative group service. Move back upon a line of light into the heart center in the head. To take our place upon the seat of the director as the group soul. A point of golden light of consciousness, everywhere present. Align upwards now to the heart of the ashram of the three masters. Master M, Ray 1. Master DK, Ray 2. And Master R, Rays 3 through 7. And from this triangle to the Lord of our world, to the avatar of synthesis, and to the Christ at the heart of the ashram. From this heart center, upon the threshold of the Buddhic plane, imagine standing on the pinnacle at the midway point between the spiritual will of the divine plan and the personality of the nation. And identify as the soul of your nation with the consciousness of the people surrounded by the blue-white light of Christ. Now visualize the triangle of head, heart and throat centers of the Deva of Europe. Awakening, aligning, and becoming receptive to the divine plan. recognize this as a living spiritual being. A triangle of spiritual forces of Disciple Europe. Now see Disciple Europe aligning with the higher triangle, the Lord of our world, the avatar of synthesis, and the Christ. To integrate and fuse the personality of Europe with the overshadowing spiritual soul of Europe. And sound the Om. Visualize the triangle of 3 nations: United States of America, Russia, and Britain, and affirm our inner unity of purpose. Sense the creative tension of right relationships at the heart of this triangle of the soul of 3 nations, establishing a focus of group consciousness, vitality, and life for the distribution of soul energy within the etheric body of humanity. Relax the attention, but maintain the focus. Observation. Take some moments now as a group consciousness to reach out with awareness. To identify with and to observe the life and affairs of the people in your region or sphere of influence. You may choose to observe the physical etheric vitality of your nation. Its emotional quality and its mental atmosphere. Bring to your awareness and contemplate the condition within which the people find themselves. seek to identify the underlying motives and forces at play and their effects. Let us take these observations into our awareness for a few moments and let the practical and spiritual needs of the people become known to us. Now see all of these qualities and characteristics being drawn up into the soul of the nations, aligning those conditions, the needs and aspirations of the people, to the Christ and to the divine plan. Relax the attention and slowly return to normal focus.
So in that phase, we've looked at what are the practical and spiritual needs of the people of your nation and of Europe. And we can share these insights in just one or two words. What are the needs? For example, clarity or truth or support. And as we share these, we begin to consolidate that which we will then take into meditation again to be able to transmute those needs into their fulfillment. So you can share in one or two words, in a simple phrase, the practical and spiritual needs of the people as you see it and as you observe it, either in the chat or by unmuting yourself and sharing verbally.
Thank you, Robin. Awareness of hierarchy. Andrea, loving kindness. Barbara, a unifying economy. Regina, slow down. Philip, the four freedoms. Judy, wholeness. Diana, spiritual healing. Daniela, spiritual encouragement. One I missed, buoyancy of the heart to restore vitality to a weary population. And from Helen, to be heard and to be respected. From Astra, truth. Thank you. Alexandra, security. Magda, awareness of country's esoteric role. And Bridget, authentic spiritual leadership. Francis, knowing who and what they identify with so that they may better help manifest the divine plan. And Barclay, goodwill in all its forms. Uta, harmless, truthfulness. I'm sure everyone here in this circle has real awareness of what we, the people, are needing, both practically and spiritually. We observe the conditions of our people everywhere. And we raise this awareness up to the Christ. Ria shares goodwill. Sabine, economy of sharing, existence of the spiritual plane. Irina, the blissful state from the touch of the divine. And Bridget, simplicity. Andrea, trust. As we continue to share, and everybody is welcome to contribute your thoughts, a word, an impression. Let us move now to the meditation proper. Thank you, everyone.
Transmutation. Take a deep breath and integrate the persona. As the threefold medium of the incarnating soul, as before. Move directly into the heart center in the head. Align upwards and imagine standing on the pinnacle at the midway point, at one with the soul of your nation, in the blue-white light of Christ. Bring to your awareness once again the outer conditions of life and the practical and spiritual needs of the people. Recognizing the condition is a result of the working out of divine law and order. Visualize a line of light from the center of the sphere of blue, white Christ light to the condition with which one is concerned. Thus, establishing the perfect alignment between spirit and matter, and between purpose and appearance. Become receptive to the divine plan and to divine purpose. And hold this vertical tension momentarily. As the one spiritual soul, invoke and infuse the condition with Christ's pure, unconditional love wisdom. And radiate the energy of divine love wisdom to and through all relationships. Meditation on ideation of the soul keynote. See the causal light body of the nations becoming receptive to logoic will impress. Contemplate the keynote of your nation as a new idea of divine potential. And in synthesis with the soul of the three nations, United States of America, Britain, and Russia, in relationship to the goal of European unity, to bring through a synthetic consciousness and culture for a new civilization. See the new consciousness releasing itself from the prisons of old ideals and forms, dissolving them into the light of the soul, clearing the way for the new ideation of Aquarius. Let us meditate for a few minutes upon these keynotes of the nations and their synthesis as a divine intent. For United States of America, I light the way. For Britain, I serve. Russia, I link two ways. Distribution. Become receptive to the downward motion of the energy of synthesis from the avatar to the Christ, down through the focal point of the masters of the wisdom, into the spiritual soul life of the world group. Infusing and ensouling the life and affairs of humanity with divine intent. A new motivating impulse and motivating idea. Direct the downward motion of the energy of synthesis from the center of synthesis in the Americas through the triangle of head, heart, and throat centers of Deva Europe. Integrating and aligning humanity with the divine logoic purpose and motivating idea of Aquarius. see the light of the new idea radiating out via New York and through the 5 planetary inlets to inform the Deva lives of humanity. New York, London, Geneva, Darjeeling, Tokyo, and back to New York to complete the circuit. Visualize the energy of the divine plan radiating throughout the etheric light body of our planet by sounding a silent Om. Visualize humanity fulfilling its purpose for the Aquarian age. Finally, let us direct the energy and the life back up to the Christ, the sacred heart center of our planet. Creating a constant circulation of life, love, and light in divine law and order. Sound the Om together.
And so let it be in divine law and order.